One of the most intense scenes in Breaking Bad is a chat in a garage between two suburban daddies. The most intense scene in Invincible has no fighting, and the most emotional scene in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is when a cartoon cat has a panic attack and actually runs away instead of fighting. These quiet conversational scenes are more intense than Superman causing a million 9/11s or yet another big blue sky laser threatening the multiverse. I know you, generic TV show viewer. Your favorite episodes are probably the ones with non-stop breakneck action. Action is inherently dramatic. It's flashy. In our current age of ever shorter attention spans, action sequences are risk-averse for writers because they're intrinsically attention-grabbing. They steal your focus and compete with your phone's monopoly on your brain's dopamine receptors in a way that other scene styles simply can't. The industry knows this, so it gives you more, faster, louder, more cuts per second, until sitting with a character who isn't punching anything starts to register in your nervous system as a glitch in the signal. Introspective episodes, slow ones, internal ones, where the only battle is happening inside someone's soul, have been the collateral damage of that arms race. Let's talk about it. The axis you should be tracking isn't action versus no action. It's external stakes versus internal stakes. External stakes are legible. Someone is going to die, or a city burns, or the villain wins. Your nervous system understands these intrinsically. Internal stakes are harder. They require you to believe that a person disintegrating on the inside is as dramatic as a building disintegrating on the outside. And when a piece of media earns that belief, when it's done the work to make you care about the interior, the payoff hits at a frequency that raw action cannot access. Consider Breaking Bad's garage confrontation. Hank has it figured out. He knows. Walt knows Hank knows. And neither of them can pretend anymore. There is action, a punch technically, and it lands like a reflex, like a body doing something because it doesn't know what else to do with the magnitude of what's in the room. But nobody remembers the punch. What the scene is actually made of is two men standing in a garage with the full weight of everything they've built, ruined, lied about, and protected, and the moment where Walt says in plain language that he's already won. The action is there, but it's cosmetic. A passenger in a vehicle that was always moving somewhere else. Compare this to Zack Snyder's Superman Zod sequence. Two basically omnipotent figures demolishing entire city blocks, and you feel absolutely nothing. Walt softly speaking two words is more intense than a million super deities flying around New York blowing shit up. Intensity and action are not the same axis. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is another great example. I love this movie. It has some of the best fight choreography and animation. Colorful, kinetic, technically immaculate, but the scenes I actually go back and rewatch are the ones where nobody is fighting. Take the Jack Horner sequence. It's fun, it's flashy, all the energy of a film at full confidence. Then death appears at the edge of the frame. The color drains in real time. Puss stops fighting, and he runs. He breaks down into a full-blown panic attack, and thank God the scene has no jokes. One single quip would have torched everything the movie had just built. Then there's the cave sequence. Death materializes out of nothing, and the atmosphere just empties. The tension builds over their interaction until the attack finally lands as almost a release, because you've been bracing for it the whole time. Like the moment before a jump scare hitting harder than the actual jump scare itself. The film ends with a climactic fight, and it earns it, but the reason you care who wins the fight is built entirely in stunningly intense conversations littered throughout that movie. Finally, we get to Invincible Season 4's finale, which is what sparked my interest to write this entire thing. So the finale opens with Thrag's army descending on Earth. Grandiose music, full cinematic scale, destruction, and I'll be honest, I expected it and I was excited for it, which is precisely why I didn't immediately clock it as a dream, and to be honest, that's a problem. A dream sequence depicting something plausibly real with all the film grammar of a real event is borrowing stakes it hasn't earned. When you depict the destruction of Earth with full cinematic weight and then immediately reveal it didn't happen, you haven't created tension, you've spent it. And the next time something looks that serious, some part of your brain is going to hedge its bets. You're less invested. I watch a lot of horror, and this happens all the time in that genre. There's a way to do these styles of sequences without misleading your audience. And interestingly enough, Invincible actually figures that out within the same episode. Mark starts seeing things, loved ones ripped apart, the people he's responsible for gone in flashes that last seconds, panic attacks landing mid-scene without warning. But here's the key difference. The show isn't lying to you now. There's no rug pull. Nobody thinks Mark's mom actually died. The show is being transparent about exactly what you're seeing. This is in Mark's mind. This is the weight of being the single person standing between Earth and Thrag. The person who simultaneously caused 100% of that threat to redirect toward his own planet, and who is completely powerless to stop what comes next. These PTSD sequences have violence, but don't need to pretend to be real to have weight, because the weight is based on Mark's psychology and emotional state. They show you, clearly and without apology, the interior of a person under impossible pressure. You care about those sequences not because they trick you into thinking it's actually happening, but because you care about Mark. The finale's most intense moment is not Thrag's army descending on Earth. It is Thrag and Mark alone in an empty, brightly lit sky. No debris, no army, and no punching. Just an ultimatum. The tension is architectural, built from everything the audience already knows about Mark's position, his guilt, and the precise calculus of what Mark knows Thrag will do if this conversation ends wrong. Mark is stubborn. He keeps searching for a way to say no. You can watch him doing the math in real time, his face cycling through the options, each one closing off. Thrag stands there, or floats there, saying nothing, just waiting, barely adjusting his stance, but in a way that feels like a loaded gun being cocked. The opening dream of Earth's invasion earns its place here retroactively. The Earth-wide destruction we saw is exactly what Mark knows is coming unless he breaks. Watching him refuse to break, knowing what it costs and knowing that he has no solution, knowing Thrag knows he has no solution, hits so much harder than watching Thrag slap him around again ever could. Action sequences aren't bad. When done right, they carry power precisely because of the psychological weight pressing on the characters beneath them. The Puss in Boots finale hits because you spent 90 minutes inside the cat's existential dread and his learning to cope like everyone else. The Invincible action lands because you understand the precise terms of what Mark is gambling every time he steps up. The industry's solution to your attention deficit is more. Faster cuts, louder sounds, another sky laser, an arms race against your phone that can only ever be fought to a draw. The quiet scene declines to enter that competition. It's not trying to outrun your dopamine cycle, it's betting that you're already committed. You've been counting the wrong macros, mistaking spectacle for nutrition. Action is just a delivery mechanism, and without the story, the characters, and your investment in them, the set pieces are just empty calories. The quiet scenes just remove the packaging and let you access the meat of the content directly.